off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble. Do you hear the echo?
Surprise!
Oh my goodness. And everywhere. So why don't you take over for a second and let me troubleshoot this?
Absolutely. Well, we are live in studio today, and I want to say happy Wednesday, everyone. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is having a wonderful week. And welcome. We are going to start our day in the most positive, uplifting way. And we are going to say what we are thankful for, as we typically do. And I have had a fabulous Mother's Day weekend. I hope you have had one as well. I will say this is the first time that I did not cry on Mother's Day. I felt so much love from my family and my children, and this was a miraculous, wonderful thing. Because usually I start the day crying in bed because my mother passed away in 2013 from lung cancer. We had a tumultuous roller coaster ride of a relationship, and I just felt so much love from my children. And it started the day before on Saturday when Mia took me out and they paid. She and Nathaniel, they put their money together and they treated me to a fabulous seafood meal. I had a big 10-ounce lobster and with an appetizer with calamari, and I just enjoyed my day, enjoyed my weekend, and I just felt so much love. We had barbecue at Mom T's, and it was just a beautiful weekend. Do you want to try it? See if you're reverberating?
And now I lost your sound.
I can hear you. Can
I'm
you
going
hear me?
out. I'll be right back.
Okay, so we'll just keep it going. And after that, I decided to give back to the community. I went to the local Masonic Lodge and helped pack meals for the unhoused. We packed about 300 meals because I feel that there's no better way than to help out the community. So I volunteered on Mother's Day by helping to pack meals for the unhoused at the local Masonic Lodge. And so I think it's important to always serve the community.
Awesome. I think I'm going to go on my. Yes, I'm hard to take in mono.
Well, at least I can hear you and you can hear me.
That's
we are having a fabulous show. And when life hands you lemons, what do? We make
banana bread.
Well, we want some lemonade to go with that banana bread because you always need a drink.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So let's just move to.
And we have someone in our cashew gallery too.
We
Good
do.
morning, Jerry.
Yay. Let's ask Jerry, do you hear an echo? Echo, echo, echo. No, you hear an echo on my end. We hear it, but if you don't hear it, I'll live with it.
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it?
No, I do not hear an echo.
Oh, yeah, Jerry does. Okay, so we're gonna do our breakfast in a bit. You're gonna tell us what the topic is and why you picked it, and that way it'll give me some time to go to another studio.
Okay, so the topic of the day is compassion and community. And I picked this topic because of what I did this weekend. And I felt that everyone needs to have compassion in and towards the community. And as I was volunteering, I just felt that compassion is something that everyone thinks they have, but I don't really think they truly understand what compassion is. And there's no true, really depth. I mean, there's a lot of depth to it. And I felt that it was something that we really needed to go into. Do you have both open?
I love my life. All right.
Okay, so
Much better.
awesome.
No, there's still an echo. What the fork is going on? Let me turn
You have a gremlin in your technology.
I do. This is what happened. Yesterday was fine. And I'm going to shut this computer down. Yesterday was fine. The day before didn't work. So let's see if this. But go ahead. Compassion and community.
Absolutely. So, compassion and community. So, I picked this topic because of what I did this weekend, but I also picked this topic because when we went to see Annie, I thought that that was a good example of a community coming together. And we had us as a group coming together. And I thought it was a beautiful intro. If you didn't have a chance to see the promo when Dr. Marissa was filming, I don't even know if she realized it. One of the teachers, because we had a lot of children coming on a field trip there, and she was kind of instructing the kids, don't leave the group, don't leave the group. And that was part of the promo. And I thought that that was adorable, number one, and so important, number two, because a lot of times we live in such a me society and everybody is focused on me that we don't recognize the we. And we need to realize that no person is a continent. We need each other. We need to rely on one another to a certain extent. And there's nothing wrong with being an individual, but we need to have compassion towards one another and compassion towards the community. But when we talk about the topic, we will go in depth into what is community and help people understand the definition of community, the definition of compassion, and how the two intertwine.
Sounds great to me. Can you go in yours and hit the echo cancellation? Because something is going on. That is different than normal. Let's see, iPhone microphone. Is this better? Nope.
I do not hear an echo on from you, and I don't have the echo cancellation on.
You don't have it on.
No.
I
When
don't
I
have it
turn,
on,
yeah,
and
when I
I
turned
don't
mine
have it.
off, the echo went off on my end.
I'm still echoing.
So
Whether
I can turn off my mic and just use my computer mic and see if that works.
okay.
Let's try that. Let's see. Is that better?
Nope.
No, not better?
No, it's not you. It's me.
Yeah, it seems like once I unplugged, that made it worse.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to run the whole show and me just be quiet.
Okay. All
That would
right.
be a first.
Okay, I can do that too. I can do a lot of talking, and you can co-sign.
I'll do a lot of this.
Okay, that will work.
Or this.
Okay, that will work. We will have live with Dr. Marissa and Dr. Tiffanie Tate with Doctors in the House. And so today we are talking about compassion and community. And we had a group trip to see Annie, and the kids were absolutely adorable. And if you had a chance to see the promo, as I was saying, that Dr. Marissa did, one of the instructors leading the children, she was saying, don't leave the group. Don't leave the group. And a lot of times we have a tendency to want to leave the group. And in certain situations, hey, I'm not saying don't split off and do your own thing, but a lot of times we do need to stick together. And before we venture off to that, I think it's important to realize, what is compassion? Well, compassion is a profound feeling or concern for other people, particularly when people are suffering. Think about it as a strong desire to help alleviate someone's pain. It's more than just sympathy. It involves acknowledging the suffering and being motivated to take action, because a lot of times people feel for other people. I feel for other people all the time. Dr. Marissa, don't you feel for other people? Yes, no.
Depends on who it is. If I'm honest.
Okay. And so I think that a lot of times we can feel for people, but a lot of times we don't necessarily want to take action based on those feelings. Well, that's where the difference is between compassion. And so here's a detailed look at what compassion entails. So it's an awareness of that suffering, because a lot of times we don't really want to be aware. A lot of times you want to turn a blind eye to what is going on with what people are experiencing. So it begins with recognizing that another person is experiencing pain or hardship, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, because a lot of times, especially now, people are hurting, and it's a question of what are we going to do about it. So it's a deep care and sympathy, and it involves deep concern about that sorrow and their suffering. And the key difference, and where it splits off from other things, is that motivation to help. Are you motivated? I can't answer that for you. Dr. Marissa can't answer that for you. Only you know, are you motivated to help? And to what extent are you willing to do something? Are you willing to get up off of your seat, get up on your feet, and get Pat and Tom, that's the name of your right and left foot, walking, and put some action behind that? Yeah, I name my body parts. Don't judge me. So, are you gonna say something now?
No, that's pretty funny.
And so I was taught that as a child. And so it just carries over. And so the compassion goes beyond just simply feeling sorry for someone, because we all feel sorry for people at one point in time. And so it drives individuals to take steps to alleviate the suffering in other people. So it is action oriented. And some people tell me I take too much action. But in other words, is there such a thing as too much action? As long as you don't do it to your detriment. And that's how I see it. As long as you're not putting yourself out, I don't see it as being a problem. So, compassion is different than empathy. Okay? So, and that's what I learned when doing this research, is that compassion is very different from empathy. A lot of people have, well, I can't say a lot, some people, some people have empathy, and some people have both compassion and empathy. So while related, they're definitely different. Compassion is distinct from empathy because empathy is the ability to understand. So you can understand somebody and not want to help them. Okay. So yeah, I understand what you're going through. I've been in the same situation as you. I feel for you and not want to help somebody. Okay? So it's okay to have empathy, and you may have empathy and still not want to help somebody, and that's fine. But that's the difference between empathy and compassion. There's that feeling, there's that understanding, but there's the lack of the motivation to want to help somebody. So that's important, and that's a distinct difference. Are you able to speak and participate?
I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay. I'll just keep on going. Like the Energizer Bunny. Kind of like you. And so compassion can be directed towards anyone, including those you know well as strangers. In essence, compassion is a powerful human tool that we should use. I think we should use it more frequently than we do, because it would just make the world a better place. It's a wonderful human quality, and it's an emotional response to empathy. Um, so in a social feeling, it's a social feeling that if you're sensitive, you can basically use it towards strangers and use it as a strength. You can use it towards family members. It's considered an important human strength, if you didn't know, because it requires caring, empathy, and sympathy. And so it can build positive relationships. It can release the mind from harmful, negative emotions. So it can do all these wonderful things inside and outside, and it can make the world a better place if more people utilized it.
Sounds
Sounds
good to
me.
me.
And
And
I want to put
this
this on the table around too much compassion. So
So
there are
there are
people who
people who
say
say
that
that
by
by
giving handouts, being so compassionate, you're always giving something to people and not allowing them to learn how to take care of themselves, whether it's welfare, whether it's, like freeloading, all of those things to the other extent, and put that moose on the table. Speak to that for me.
Well, I think that there's a time and a place for everything. And at some point, everybody needed help from someone, whether they want to admit it or not. So it's just a matter of the terminology in which you use, whether you call it a grant, whether you call it a loan, whether you call it financial aid. It's just terminology per se. So it doesn't matter semantics, how you use it. Everyone has had help from someone at some point in time or another. We just celebrated Mother's Day. everyone relied on their mother. That was aid. When you look down to it, your parents provided you aid when you were a child. I always tell my children, when you were born, you had nothing. I provided you with everything. And right now you are still relying on me because you're in school. You still have my credit card. You're not working yet. So you are still getting aid from me. So at some point, you're still getting a kickback.
I even keep the mic off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay. So I think we should just push through it and it'll be what it'll be.
I agree. And everything was perfectly yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't take.
Yes. Hello, people. We have gremlins in our studios. Please bear with us today.
I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. That's
Absolutely.
with more or less sarcasm.
Absolutely.
I'll just sit here and nod.
Absolutely. So, well, I say you talk too, and we'll just work through the gremlins, and they'll hear you in studio and in stereo and studio and studio and stereo, and we'll just work through it.
Sounds good.
But because I think that you have some important points that because some people will say, well, I don't think that person should get this. And some people will say, well, why are you volunteering to help feed those people who are on hard times? But you have a lot of people who are suffering. And does that mean that I shouldn't volunteer my time? It's my time to give however I want to give it, and it's free.
In my short film, PPP post-pandemic possibilities, I addressed this very thing in one of my lines, which is, why can't we help those there and here? Why does it have to be a choice? Why do we live in this BS belief system that there's a fixed pie, there's resources that if I have them, you won't have them, and that if you are affluent, I will be poor. I use the model breath. When I breathe in, I take nothing from you. When you breathe in, you take nothing from me. There's more than enough to go around of everything. And they've done studies. There's more than enough food that there isn't starving children anyway. There's more enough medication or inoculation to make sure that no one gets those life-threatening diseases in third world countries. And yet, we have disease, we have pollution, we have. So what the fuck's going on? It's called nationalism. It's called better than you country. You're wrong, we're right. You need to be punished. You need to, what's going on now? So my way is the way. And as a student of the law of attraction, one of the best things that I know for sure is, from Honorable Mother Barbara, is that there is well-being and a balance all the time. Whether I believe it or not, whether I see it or not, my meditation this morning was, good is always there. Whether we see it, it's still there. Just like the sun is shining all the time, whether or not we see it. The oceans are replenishing themselves. Land is replenishing. People are growing and expanding. That's what life is. So if we just allow that
and not fight so much and not blame so much and not accuse so much, well-being will come.
Absolutely. And I think that what I learned is that there are three different types of compassion. There is familial compassion that we have towards a family member suffering. There is familiar compassion that we have towards people that we know. And then there is stranger compassion that you'll have towards someone that you don't know. Like you might help someone who has a car broken down in the heat or in the rain because you feel compassion towards them on the side of the road and it's a family and you don't want to see them suffering. Or you see a woman with a baby and you see her trying to open the door and you want to stop and help them. Or you see someone struggling to pay for groceries and you see that they can't afford them, and it's a woman and she has like 4 or 5 children, and you know that they're not dressed like they have a lot of money, and you definitely want to give her that extra $20 to help her get over that hump to afford that basket of groceries. So sometimes there are little things that you can do. We don't think about color, we don't think about class, we don't think about race, we don't think about religion. We think about that's someone suffering and I want to lend a hand. And that's the humankind. That's that kindness within us. And that's the action part of compassion. Sometimes you can look and be like, oh, that's sad, and not take action. And that's not compassion. Compassion requires action. And that's when we want to do something. And I think it's important for us, like you said, well, they don't deserve it. I know some people are like that. I'm not one of those people. I've paid for people's groceries that I don't know in the supermarket and Costco. I won't pay for alcohol, but I will pay for people if I see that it's a family and it's struggling and they are struggling. And I will lend a hand because I believe everyone needs a hand out or a hand up or assistance, because that's what life is about. And if anyone is truly in need and you have the capability to do it, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think balance is always the rule, right? There's no compassion, screw you, I live, you are the product of your own or non, and if you're not doing any good, it's lazy or, getting bad karma, so ridiculous things that but one extreme. The other extreme is I'm going to keep putting that oxygen on you and then suffocate. So where's that balance? Certainly, our political system, we're not talking politics, I'm just using this as an example. One of the parties is very much the one extreme, and the other very much isn't, which is why bipartisan is my favorite word. Is like we can't come together and make that issue. I got to interview Sandy, the shooter, so the founder of the Sandy Hook Promise has diligently not gotten support, not looked for support from either, because she has to stay in that place where it's above politics. And I think that is one of the reasons why we don't do politics in the show, because our humanity, our humankind, kind, transcends that. So, not commenting on the itself, can we get to that point where, the compassion is bipartisan or non?
I think that's key because you have to be able to come to the middle, and both sides need to be able to communicate, and that's part of compassion. There are specific ways to show compassion. I don't know if you want to take a break because we're at the halfway mark, and then we can talk about ways to show compassion.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back at 2 after we hear from news, weather, and traffic. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And we're our sponsor.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, Tiffanie, and I would like for you to check out my website at www.drtiffanitate.com. On that site, you will find information on my book called Bad Touching. It teaches children about inappropriate touching and how to protect themselves. This story is about two sisters, Lily and Linda, and they learn about inappropriate touching at an assembly at school, and they learn how to speak up and speak out. The next story is a book called Little Engine Mia Sings. This story is about a little train engine named Mia who gets bullied on the playground by a train engine named Bruce. This is also available as an audiobook, so you can pick up these on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble, as well as my website. The last is Money Matters. This story is about three brothers who find $100 bill on their way home from the park. They race home to talk to their mother, and she teaches them about saving, tithing, and investing. Pick this book up today, or all three, so don't delay. Get them today.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talking IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel, home to 1,300 and something podcasts. Now going 13 years and 680 consecutive weeks. We're celebrating all month because they said that wouldn't last a year. What? 13 years later, I'm here. I'm still no gossip, no scandal, and words, no Kardashian talk. I want you to focus on your own show, and I can be happy. 80% of the topic success do that, and special series, and you'll know it's Wednesday because I have the beautiful inside man out, Dr. Tiffanie Tate, here for is in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And the topic today is
compassion and community.
And we're showing compassion. Our audio today, as you can tell, you're not getting enough of me in mono. So today you're getting a nice stereo for me. We're training your ear to be, discerning. That's what we're doing. And Dr. Tiffany promised that when we came back, we would be talking about compassionate community. That is our topic for today. And just so happy to have Jerry as captain in our compassion gallery today. And I did turn off all my and it's still doing it. So, but I'm going to follow your advice, and we're going to keep allowing for this wonderful different broadcast. It's funny. I was telling someone that in 13 years of broadcasting, I'm so grateful that I've only had technical difficulties maybe 5 times. I wasn't even at a handful. That's in 1,380 shows. However, 3 of them have been in the past since I turned 13. So it makes me, that 13 number. Maybe I should skip the 14.
We don't believe that.
I'm making a believer out of me.
Nah.
Oh, that's a pretty big mic, actually. When did you get that?
Remember, this was the first mic. So this is my my travel mic. I am celebrating my 25-year anniversary for medical school.
What? Hold on. And I didn't do the normal introduction of Tiffanie. She is an OBGyn, OBGyn, and that's my doctor's in the house, MD, PhD, which just stands for piled higher. Back to the topic.
Okay. Compassion and community. Something that we need more of today. So, here are some specific ways to show compassion. We have active listening.
What?
Active listening.
What?
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué? Yes, active listening.
Echo actually makes that easier.
Yes, so we can start paying close attention to the words that people are saying and feelings. Sometimes we can avoid interrupting. I know a lot of times I am guilty of that myself, because a lot of times I need to get it in. So we can avoid judging. I know there was this thing going around that says we listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. And so we want to listen to understand their perspective and validate their emotions. Or we want to show a lot of empathy as well. We want to try to understand how someone else is feeling. A lot of times we don't do that. And remember, we listen and we don't judge. Say that mantra in our mind, even if it's not true. We say it to ourselves until it is. We listen and we don't judge. Say it with me, Dr. Marissa.
We
listen and we don't judge. Okay? All right. And a lot of times we can validate. Okay? And so acknowledge and validate someone's feelings without dismissing or minimizing them. Sometimes it might be a little bit hard to do that, but it's something that we want to try to do. And then offer help. The help doesn't always have to be very significant. If someone needs $1,000 and you don't have $1,000, then don't give them $1,000. Give them what you can. If it's time, give them your time. If it's $100 and you can spare it, give them what you can spare. I'm not saying break the bank to help someone financially. You can't hurt yourself trying to help someone. That is not what I'm asking you to do. Be practical. And what we do every day on the show, express gratitude, but towards yourself, but also towards others. So express gratitude towards them, towards their contributions, toward whatever you're working towards, because you want to make them feel valuable, especially if they're suffering. Be patient.
Uh-uh.
You know what, Dr. Marissa? Remember, we listen and we don't judge. See, I just judged you when you said guilty as charged. So we listen and we don't judge, but we need to try to be patient. We want to recognize that everyone is different and in different places and in different spaces. Okay? So we need to listen and not judge. Okay? We also want to try to forgive them if they have offended us or someone we know. And we want to be mindful of our boundaries and their boundaries. If they have told us no, that they don't want to do something, we shouldn't try to force them to do something. We want to try to be respectful of that, recognize their personal space, and we want to try to remember to speak kindly. A lot of times we don't want to do that either.
I really want to.
Give it to me.
I think it's going to be my life challenge. I don't know if this is worse or better.
You sound better. And we have another person in our cashew gallery. Hello, Dolores.
And she congratulated you on your 25 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm laughing. Y'all know, who've been listening or watching the show for a while, that I didn't think it would be so difficult to listen to myself. So that's what the echo is doing. It's really annoying me. I am annoying me. And we're going to talk about annoying. Because I don't have the P word. Y'all know it's not in my vocabulary. When people say thank you for being patient, I look over my shoulder to see who they're talking to. And last time I prayed for patience, I got teenagers, so I don't even pretend to have patience in there. And when you talk about when people annoy you, is it really realistic for me to allow people to keep annoying me by trying to be more saintly and loving, but I just know that I can't hide the expression on my forking face. So isn't it better for them that I just remove myself? I'm human. 88% of the time, I'm fabulous. 12% of the time, I step in it. So this is where I get a little bit past to the whole, try to listen and act some people, I just know that they're better off without me. No.
We listen and we don't judge. So let me start with that. And remember, we were also talking about community. Now, the sense of community is the sense of connection and feeling that you belong within a group about shared beliefs and experiences. Now, you said you feel that they are better without you. I disagree. You may not always agree with these people, and you might feel pissed offness at that moment, but you still belong to that group. And remember, in the clip at the beginning, she said, "Don't leave the group. Don't leave the group." That's in the clip that you had in the promo. Now, you may wander off.
He's using it against me.
Absolutely. You may wander off for a second to cool off. And that's fine. Everyone needs a moment to themselves. And like I started off, no man is an island. Step away for a moment. I would rather you step away for a moment than, tell somebody off and which train to get off on and have a moment and then come back after you cool off. There's nothing wrong with that. Take a beat, take a breath. Hey, we're all human. After you woosah, come back to the group and be back happy that 88% of the time. There's nothing wrong with that. So remember, we're all a part of the community. We're all a part of humankind. And that's where that kindness comes back in. And we all need a moment from time to time. And we all are allowed to be upset from time to time. And we are not going to be happy constantly 100%. So there's nothing wrong with stepping away and getting away as long as we come back together. And this is what we need. So we can come back, we can step apart, but come back. Step apart, but come back. But as long as we are a cohesive group, and that's what we need.
I guess the codependent part of myself, or the recovering codependent part of myself, that there was a time when I just tried to get along with everybody, and I really wanted people, like everybody, to be harmonious and, for them to like me, and it just gets you into a whole world because you can't please everybody, even some of the time. And they're just some people you naturally get along with to a point, and then other people that you just are oil and water, and it's just better to separate. So I think that there's room for, that pinky going off in another direction sometimes.
Well, I think that coming together as a community doesn't mean that you have to be best friends. I think that you just get more done when you are in a community. And I'm not saying that you have to go everywhere and do everything with everyone. I just know that when you function within communities, you do better. And people within communities tend to live longer. And people who are isolated tend to live shorter, lonelier lives. And so it's important to be within a community. It's just better, and it's just healthier. And it's important to have a sense of community and to be within a community.
Yeah, I think it's because I grew up with this coping device because of my trauma. And for me to be present fully and listen fully, I probably would have died, because the words that were spoken were so hurtful. Like there's an expression in Chinese called "dasini," and it means I'm going to beat you to death. So for me to hear that fully every day, every hour, or at least 5 or 6 times a day, it would have killed me. So I coped with, one, not fully listening, and two, a BS belief system that I could live alone on a desert island, because that was my safe place. I'm not saying that is a good thing. I also know that I'm not alone in this, because I am one of the 7 out of 10 of us who had childhood trauma, and which is why I live my life out loud, so you know that I did it. And in theory, I absolutely agree with what you're saying,
is that you cannot live alone on a desert island, but it is a moment by moment. I think it'll stay with me at some level, which is why I act out with you around the words patience or around the words, not always being face to face or having confrontation or trying to get along with everybody.
Well, I think the important thing is that when it comes to community, what I found is that there are 4 components: membership, influence, fulfillment of needs, and emotional connection. And you don't just have to get absorbed into any community. You decide who your community is going to be. And I always tell my kids this: you are born into your family. You don't get to pick your family, but you get to pick your friends. You get to pick your community. So you don't get to pick your family. So pick your friends and pick them wisely, because you don't get to pick your family. So you get to pick your community.
I disagree. I have bonus parents. My bonus mom just passed. I have bonus kids, my kids' friends. So I do pick that.
Yeah, you picked it. You pick those. You picked your community, and that's my point. But you're born into your biological family. You don't get to pick that, but you get to pick your community. So you get to pick that extension. You have control over that extra extension. So pick wisely. Pick something that you want to be in, and that was what I was saying. Like when we went to Annie, and how we've kind of absorbed you into our family, and so you have this extra bonus community that you've been absorbed into. We're like we're like an amoeba. I always say
I was just going to say that.
We just absorb people. And so you get to absorb into other communities that you want to be into. And I would say that to all of our listeners: you can decide what community you want to get into. You don't have a control over your biological family. So I mean, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to your biological family. But your friends and your community, you have control over that. So pick what you want. You are in control of that. You be like, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. I like that one. So you are in complete control over your community. So you can pick with compassion, with empathy. Oh, I love that kindness. Oh, I don't like that. That's petty. You have control over that. Pick what you want. You don't have to pick obnoxiousness. You don't have to pick mean people. You have control. And that is what I have to say.
I think your internet is doing a little funny thing.
Oh, okay.
So now it is you.
Oh, okay. Now it's me. I have the gremlins now.
The gremlins went from mine to yours, or they're still with me. They just have embraced you like an amoeba.
A big whole hug.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's a good point. It has, and I'm so grateful that I have finally come to some peace around my bio family, my mother in particular. And so at the end of the day, I do agree with you, Dr. Tiffanie.
She agrees with me, people. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Yeah. In echo too, like in stereo. I may live to regret that admittance. But
and happy dance.
Let's end with my gratitude sandwich, because I need to. Following this show, there's going to be some heads rolling. This is what happens when you upgrade into a new computer. So
Let's see. You were grateful for the 25 years. I already said I was grateful for the 13. Oh, I'm grateful that Mother's Day was amazing for myself as well. That's what I wanted to bring up. And I wanted to thank my daughters, particularly my younger one who got me a ticket to the Four Queens. And Dr. Tiffany, you would have loved Gladys Knight, Classy 81, Shaka Khan, amazing, brought Stevie Wonder on stage. So it was truly fabulous, and I wanted to make sure I thanked my daughter Sarah for Mother's Day. Yeah, she wrote me a poem too, and you have to go on my social to get it, but I actually read it, and you can also see it. So, yeah. Final word, Dr. Tiffany.
My final word is that I would like to challenge all of our listeners to practice compassion towards themselves as well as their community, familial, friendship-wise, as well as a stranger. Because remember, compassion is not just sympathy, there's action, and that's the difference. Practice compassion with action behind it, because it's a verb, not just a word.
And passion is part of the word compassion. I didn't realize that until you picked the topic. It reminds me when you said stranger. Stranger in the night, stranger by day, but stranger in the night. I haven't done that in ages. I think that's the funniest rendition of that song. That's my final word. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow we continue the celebration of my 13 years. I'm having back my satellite sister, Akuyo Graham, actor, humanitarian, founder of Spirit Awakening. That's tomorrow. And then Straight Out on Friday with Ricky Rebel. Although I just got a text that went by. It says he sounds like someone because he has strep throat. So we'll see if we'll be able to come on. But we keep it interesting and echoey sometimes even. But we're so glad that you're here today for Is in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Thanks for joining us today. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have
the best day ever.